Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. Time to keep our voices shut as we look at the 2024 remake, Speak No Evil. Louise and Ben, an American couple living in London, receive an invitation from their new friends Patty and Sierra to the remote farmhouse out in the European countryside. The longer they spend time together, the more the cracks start to show, as this family of friends slowly turns into something far darker. Now, this is one of two movies I wanted to talk about on my Jack-O-Ween videos, but I decided to go against it, as I feel that they're not necessarily horror straight up as much as they are suspense thrillers with a very horror overtone. So with that in mind, when I first heard about this remake, I was irritated, to say the least. The original had only come out 2 years ago, and because of that, a lot of people still hadn't really seen it, and for better or for worse, the movie that we got is kind of a almost higher budget English version of the original, with some big variations. The main thing that kept this one so separate from the original is that the original is just bleak. It is just dark. First of all, it is far bleaker, it is far more nihilistic than the newer one. The newer one has a little bit more of a happier ending, which is not saying that it's happy, it's just happy in comparison to the original. It's very difficult to talk about this movie without talking about the 2022 original with the same name. I feel that they're two halves of a whole movie. The beats are similar, the rhythms are similar, the moments in some capacities are similar, and sometimes they'll go completely off kilter to something else. The main difference, I would say, between them is the acting. The Danish family of the original Speak No Evil, the main characters, the main leads, they're far more empathetic, sympathetic, and relatable. They're just circumstantial. Their naivete is justified. The family feels that, well, we have a repertoire, we've known them quite a bit of the time, and we feel that, hey, you know, we in the Danish culture are far more open to, you know, conversing and interacting and spending time with strangers, because Europeans and people in that society are more used to being open. Whereas in the remake, there's not really much to go on why they trust them, other than, oh, we spent a couple times with them. It's not really much to go off of. The societal boundaries, or lack thereof, aren't there anymore. It's just being dumb. So you kind of are like, when it comes to the families. But the huge difference, and this is probably the biggest thing, is that acting of the main villains, specifically James McAvoy. Whoa, he steals the show in this whole movie. He adds this element of fear, of just this ravenous witch of a madman to a nice guy. And he's charming, even when he was a villain. I'm like, damn, McAvoy can act. I always forget how good an actor he is until I see him, and I'm always like, why does no one ever talk about him? How good an actor he is. It's like crazy how good he is at being a villain, a good guy. Like, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best actors on the planet, but no one ever gives him his dues. And yet, seemingly lesser actors, like a Pedro Pascal, get all of the praise to no end. Preference, I guess. To the movie itself, though, the filming, the landscape of the new movie is beautiful. The whole countryside looks gorgeous, everything is bright and shiny and happy and lovely and all of that. But the problem is when they're trying to be more darker, it doesn't really come off that dark on screen. And I mean in the sense of you give maybe about 70% of worry as you do. It's very glossed looking, I guess is the only way I could put it. Now, this is not going to spoil anything. However, I do want to briefly talk about the endings in tone. Now, this won't give away the movie. This won't give away anything about the movie. It feels as though both the new one and the 2022 version are almost a choose your own adventure. What I mean by that, the ending of the original was so dour, gut punch, gut wrenching, and you felt defeated. Just as defeated as the main characters, just as defeated as everyone that watched the movie. It lingers and it stays with you. Whereas the remake feels a little more Hollywood, I guess you could say. Kind of more, I don't know, it just feels a little more glossy. I mean, granted, it's still bleak and it's still dark. And it is a great movie for what it is. I feel that it's a choose your own adventure. Do you want the extremely morbid dark ending? Or do you want the dark but somewhat hopeful ending? I guess ultimately, that's for you to decide as an audience. But do I recommend this movie? Yeah, I do. I think it's a good movie on its own. And it's kind of one I wish I had seen earlier, honestly. I give Speak No Evil 4 out of 5. Have you seen Speak No Evil? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll see you next time.